Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of my friends. I haven't made a video in quite some time, and I started off telling you my journey. And I really wanted to come on and tell you about a recent health issue that I had that I am recovering from. On May 24th, 2023, I went to Mayo Hospital emergency after having had some chest pains. After the hospital staff running a multitude of tests and taking blood and chest x-rays and EKGs and ECGs and GGGs, I learned from the cardiologist that sometime in the 3 weeks prior to May 24th, I had had a mild heart attack. And as a result of that mild heart attack, they were going to need to do an angiogram, which actually puts stents in my arteries. So they put 2 stents in the left artery, and next Thursday, June 22nd, I believe it will be, I will be going back for the second procedure for stents in my right artery. And I don't know if it's 1 or 2, but it's a possibility it will be 2 again. So I've been recovering from that. In addition to that health problem, I have a very serious wound on my lower left leg, a wound that is basically caused from a skin condition that is endemic to transplant patients. And so apparently my skin got sort of infected with whatever this is. They don't really have a name for it yet. They haven't told me a name. And they treated it with antibiotics. They sent me to a wound specialist. The treatment by the wound specialist actually caused the wounds to get worse. Mayo dermatology, infectious disease, wound care, you name it, looked at it. They could not determine what it was. They determined that there was no infection, that it had not penetrated to the bone, that it was not a bacterial infection, not a viral infection, nor a fungus. And so they sent me home with some ointment to apply on it and to put some eye drops on it, which was kind of a unique treatment to me. My wound care physician's assistant was quite angry because Mayo wouldn't call her to talk to her about the treatment because she felt that the treatment was actually antiquated, and she didn't agree with it, and she wouldn't use the ointment or the eye drops. So essentially, what she did is she set me up with a home health care nurse who has actually been a guardian angel sent from heaven. And the home care nurse comes and she carefully removes dead skin. She cleans the wounds. She applies the medication, including the eye drops. She wraps the wound and secures it so that parts that are where there's fluid that's collected that's going to drain out will not sort of drain through. And she comes on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and she has been a joy to have, and actually a godsend. I went to the pain clinic yesterday because I'm in extreme pain, and they had me on Oxycontin in the hospital and some other narcotics, which actually shut my kidneys, not my kidneys, but shut my bladder down and maybe not eliminate as I should be. And when I came home, I decided not to take the Oxycontin, and it my bladder started working as usual because the urologist people were very concerned because that urine has to be expelled because of my transplanted kidney. So um, don't worry, I'm not having a problem urinating. And I went for a test last week, and she was very pleased with the results, and she set me up to come back for a test in 6 months, just to make sure that it's still functioning. And so we'll go back in 6 months, and it'll be functioning. So anyway, after going to the wound clinic yesterday, I began to meditate and talk to the Most High. And the Most High actually reinforced what one of my group members in my spiritual Zoom group that I try to join every day had basically said about pain. And what he said is, there is no such thing as pain. It's only our three-dimensional mind thinking that we are in pain. And so earlier this week, my spouse Pam had a revelation from Jesus. Jesus came to her and said, "Why haven't you been calling on me? I've been with you all this time. What's the matter?" And so when she told me that, I immediately started calling on Jesus, my brother, my master teacher, and my Messiah. And I asked for his help. I asked for him to stand by me every step of the way. The essence of his spirit is with me. And I began to practice at a higher level of consciousness into the 4D and 5D realm of thinking. And I began to tell myself, whenever the pain occurred, that there is no pain. And I've continued to tell myself that since yesterday, and I tell you the pain has calmed down with the help of Jesus. The pain has calmed down. And I would say with the help of Jesus and with all of the archangels that are here and present for us to call on. And I also have to thank the galactic people, entities, deities, whatever you want to call them, that are out there looking on us for our own well-being and not for any nefarious reasons. So I come back to you, and I really come back to you to share a story of what happened to me when I was in the hospital. So when I was in the hospital, after the heart procedure, I had to lay still for about 4 hours before they could move me into a hospital room. And I completed that mission, and I was moved into a hospital room, and I was placed on the cardiac floor. And once in the room, my head began, I was sitting up in the bed, and nobody was in the room with me. And my head started to spin, like being dizzy. And so I kind of shook my head to snap out of it, because I thought, oh, this is just from the narcotics given to me during the surgery, stuff that's been given to me for pain. And then I heard a voice that said, no, don't shake your head. Don't stop it. So I said, okay, because I'm always obedient to the Spirit. And I knew that in my gut that was the Spirit talking to me. So I closed my eyes, and I saw swirling circles and I felt like my bed was moving forward. And when I felt like my bed was moving forward, I opened up my eyes. And what was in front of me was a tunnel. And on the inside of the tunnel, I could see sheer white curtains. And I couldn't see the back of the tunnel from where I was. Now, the wall that this tunnel was on, previously there was a big television up there, but the television was gone. It was just this tunnel. And so the Spirit said, don't be afraid, just go with it. So I closed my eyes again, and I began to move into the tunnel. But I was in my bed. I began to move into the tunnel, and as I entered the tunnel, I opened my eyes. It was very comfortable in terms of temperature in the tunnel. But as I was going toward the end of the tunnel, I felt hands touching me on each side, rubbing my head, rubbing my face, rubbing my shoulder, rubbing my arms, rubbing my hands, rubbing my legs, just touching me all over. And then I got to the end of the tunnel. And so I got to the end of the tunnel, and behind the curtain, because there was sheer curtain, there was someone who was talking to me. And that someone who was talking to me said, I don't want you to be afraid. It's not your time, and this is as far as you are going to go. You have things that we want you to do. What we ask of you is to be humble. Be humble. And don't be afraid. And with that, I began to move out of the tunnel. And as I moved out of the tunnel, just like I entered, hands were touching me all over my body. And those hands were touching me all over my body, and they were giving me a comforting feeling. They were comforting when I went in. They were comforting when I went out. And then when I went out, I was in my hospital bed, and I came to, or I opened up my eyes, and I felt this immense joy and gratitude. One of my spiritual partners asked me what was the first emotion that I felt, and I told him joy. And this last week, or either maybe it was last week, I was looking up something in Louise Hay's You Can Heal Yourself. And I came across the term artery. That wasn't what I was looking up, but I came across that term. And I looked at the term artery, and it said arteries are the pathway into the joy of your heart. And I thought, wow, that's certainly coincidental, since it was joy that I felt. And so I have been having just experiences of joy and gratitude and humility in many ways as I can. And eliminating a lot of old stuff. This last couple of weeks have been a state of elimination in many ways, but eliminating a lot of toxicity out of my life. And I want to show you the book of secret wisdom, and I want to read to you what it says about joy, because I think you will find this very important. On page 132, from the book of secret wisdom, the prophetic record of human destiny and evolution. Joy, a special kind of wisdom. This joy is perfect, cosmic, and transpersonal, not associated with the elusive earthly world. It is not comparable to anything on the earth. After experiencing true joy, it is quite impossible to exchange it for imperfect, fragile, and ethereal earthly joy. It will never fade away, for it transcends that which either delights or grieves those who are not illumined by the light of wisdom. Joy is inseparable from light and love, for it is a special, fiery state of the highest order. When the fires of joy are stable and permanent, it signifies the victory of the spirit over the dismal darkness and the great illusion of existence. It may be called the elixir of immortality for the heart, because it is nourished by joy from the higher worlds. It fills all space and resounds with the most elevated notes, as yet inaccessible on the earth. Though disharmony and destruction may be the keynotes of the earth, joy is the basic form of expression of life in the higher and distant worlds. And in the future, it will crown the new earth as well. As one of the aspects of harmony, even earthly joy is capable of overcoming fatal diseases. Did you get that? As one of the aspects of harmony, even earthly joy is capable of overcoming fatal diseases. And since earliest times, people have learned the healing properties of joyous feelings that attract the best vibrations, both earthly and ethereal. And so the sick have often been surrounded by joy to bring about successful healing. One can learn cosmic joy even on earth. To do this, one must begin to experience joy, not personal and selfish one over trivial things of life, but joy for others and the very highest things. A consciousness preoccupied with itself alone has no room for joy, but when people help someone else, it brings them joy, a little sparkle in expressing joy for the common good. One acquires the joy that constitutes a special wisdom. So my folks, my people, I've been expressing joy, and I'll be with you again soon.